finally breathe when I'm closing my eyes. I never realized what I just could do, but now I know I'm better off.
It's all I do, babe. In a brand new whip, you can't get big. It's all I do, babe. In a brand new whip, you can't get big. No fun with this. Somebody get me. 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 In a brand new whip, you can't get big. It's all I do, babe. In a brand new whip, you can't get big. No fun with this.
on a mission. Wavy like the ocean, ain't got time for inhibition. Eyes on a prize, lock it in your vision. Straight up, man, that's gotta make a decision. Stay focused, man, I gotta go. Can't be going backwards, I can't be going slow. Gotta take the lead and I gotta steal the show. It's a straight up madness, you know how we roll. Madness, you know how we roll.
just need to know what's on your mind. You can call my name, I'll be alright. I just need to know what's on your mind. Pretty afternoon, it's
masses. Shooting stars,
Masses, ne diyorlar?
static. All the secrets and enigma, but the answers in the light where it all became reflected. Now the memories are stigma. All this energy compacted. A constellation of charisma hidden in us, always with us. Now we know that we're galactic.
We are not
Come and set me free.
I know. If I ever fall, will they even notice? Never cared for a goodbye, no. I just wanna be alone. Brain. Don't say we can't. We both know. Give it time for defeated, holding on to something I've needed. I'm looking for a reason, finding out you're wanting a demon. Helpless, defeated, holding on to something I've needed. I'm looking for a reason, finding out you're wanting a demon. And you took it all away from me.
Then get up, get dressed before work's off my list. What's left to do, just guess. It's you, my favorite, but I wanna taste you and feel you shake, raising an earthquake. Can't push the brakes when a rush hit the sheets. You on my lips, I'm feeling the heat that
Fundiendo core es la que hay.
Yeah, the vape is broken.
Nunca tuve la duda de que tú eras para mí. No dudé ni un segundo desde el día que yo te vi. Y era de noche y te perdí en la oscuridad. Y asomo por la puerta a ver si llega. Y es que la vía me va a quitar.
I know what you're feeling. Been lying, don't reach the ground. Yeah, the waves come crashing down.
I look for
all your jokes. I don't know why I get frustrated.
Je n'ai jamais poursuivi la gloire. Et la scène laisse les mémoires descendent, mes chiens sombres. Moi j'aime les monts subtils, légères et gentils, comme des bélés les sarons. J'aime les voir se prendre et se lèvent et traînent, voler sur le ciel.
And it's a Vinci.
Vivrai subtilement les yeux brisés. Je n'ai jamais poursuivi la gloire. Marcher, ce sont des traces. Et j'ai mis rien de plus. Marcher, il n'y a pas de ciment. Les chemins se créent en marchant. En marchant se créent les chemins. Et les tournants, les jeux de cœur. On voit les sentiers qui jamais ne doit de nouveau être affolés.
Hello. Waiting for this to bake. It's gonna take a few minutes. Waiting to compile. Yeah, waiting for these animation simulation to bake. How's it going, chat? About to do some recording. We're getting set up, warmed up, motivated. Need to get some energy. Meanwhile, I am just chilling with some music. Waiting for things to finish and get ready here. I'm actually going through some selections. Still working on assets for the stream. A lot of stuff going on at once.
For a second I thought
drum hit your face, you be like. When the bass drum hit your face, you. Drum hit your face, you be like.
I'm getting distracted with the music playing around.
I thought I had it figured out, believed in us, we were meant to be, no doubt. A teenage love, everybody else could see.
Not my tempo. Okay, let's stop the music for a second. Let's see how this is looking. Excuse me. Frame rate's shit as hell. Well, I do have like tons of stuff running at the same time. But can reduce this. Here off now. We're going to make it slow. Yeah, let's just check out. Let's see here. Lower the density a bit. Make them a little bit larger. I can make it less dense. It's going to be good enough for now. Interestingly, motion blur does not seem to affect it. Yep. Oh, I don't have my camera on. How do I look? I look a little white, don't I? I look a little white. Oh, very much so. I look pretty well balanced. Just need to, I'll fix myself later. V1taminK. So yeah. I need to record something. Boa noite, boa noite. How are you? So I'm gonna have to just go through this and be done with it. Let me open up DaVinci. If need to, I'll get rid of one of these, and this is also in whatever. But pause it, eats up some frames. Sure does. Boa noite, boa noite, boa noite, boa noite. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just go in DaVinci here. Oh my goodness, so big. Put it over here. Okay. Now, I did actually do a timeline today. Look at me smacking my lips. Oh, Jesus. Hey. Hey. Oops. Hi, I'm Vitamin. Oh, today, Jesus. I'm really excited to share some awesome visualization tools in Blender using geometry nodes and shaders. I look so tired. Awesome music visualizers. It was late at night. A couple of things I'll share as well. This is kind of like some of what the project file is based on. I'm going to be tweaking it for sharing, obviously, but it's nothing special. But it's nothing special. So, I need to like redo all this recording, all these recordings, I would redo. Save timeline 1. Take 1 edit. Smack my lips right there. Boa noite, chat. Boa noite. And let me just go and do some test recordings here. Yeah, it's going to the right spot. Audio Blender. Take me back. Yeah, I need to chill. Okay, so about to go get some coffee. I'll be right back. Oh my. I think there's an easy way of just coming here and be like, change source folder to from to. I think they did it. Can I do it to all of these at once? Oh, it doesn't show it. I have multiple selected. I know. I think if I had this in a bin or something, then I could have done all of them at once. Whatever. Now when I come here, everything should be smacking my lips. Set up. Tree. Okay. I'm going to get more coffee. I'll be right back. I'm back though, I'm back. I need to get my bearings, so performance. Let's go ahead and randomize that. I don't think I need this here. Actually, if I split this here, I can put the graph editor here. There we go. That part. Wait. Down. That way things can be that. This is going to be the main highlight of everything. Let's just double check. Yeah, motion's good. Yeah, it can be a little tricky to see a little bit. But you can play here with their performance settings and the tolerance level. Okay, now the showing off, I'll do that post-production because I'm going to create a timeline with a bunch of different versions. So yeah. I was playing with some weird stuff there. Okay. Okay. So now I'm just literally waiting for me to finish here. And I guess I'll put a little music. Meanwhile.
shore, diving deep. Where is the water taking me? Trying hard, bittersweet.
Cabin fever's pulling me. I want to hold on to something greater. I feel the waves come crashing in. I'm drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, 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 colors draw me, gravity to the bottom of the sea. Making waves, I'm making waves to leave this place. I'm drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, 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 every day I want you.
Making another light. Overcome. Show you what this world can really be. Here with me, I could set you free. Off the pain and misery and let you be. Here with me. I could set you free. Show you what this world can really be. Here with me, I could set you free. Off the pain and misery and let you be. Here with me, I could set you free. I could set you free. I could set you free. Show you what this world can really be. Here with me, I could set you free. Pain and misery and let you be. Here with me.
So this is a test recording. Let's just see where this goes. So this is a test recording. Let's just see where this goes.
I could set you free.
When I turn and look on my mind.
I need to start recording. Stop playing around with music.
Right now,
Player's a little glitchy.
We could set the world on fire. Demons unleashed from your mind hold me steady, yeah. 'Cause you want me, you won't let me go.
Very positive.
I'm just the fuel, baby, you're the lighter. If I'm not careful, you burn right through my soul. Burning like a wildfire, dying on a miser.
I think this one needs to be baked as well. I'm going to mention it, but I'm not going to show it through here. I'm going to remove that from here. I don't need hide shell parts. I need to, on the shell, this is the steel node, and it's not baked right. Oof, it needs to be cleaned the hell up. What the hell's going on here? It does have values. They're broken, so it needs to bake.
I wake up kicking myself.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you feeling. Tell me what you want. You fell by outside.
And when we open our lucky jar,
lose it all.
We say our goodbyes in. I try to pray for you.
We're online, ready to be innocent. Ain't ready to fire away. Powered by a dream, connected to a screen. The rebels in 4K.
It's fire, fire, falls of the galaxy. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' new phone, who this? Somebody get me. 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 Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' new phone, who this?
Yeah, it's not very friendly, but whatever. We'll leave it like this. We'll put it at 3 or 4. should get rid of this shell from this tutorial part. Yeah. Also get rid of volumes and floors. If I'm not using it, I'm going to get rid of it. Yeah, this file needs to be a lot cleaner. Especially if I'm going to be sharing it. So get rid of it. Delete the volumes. Same thing here. Delete. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start doing some takes. Let me put this off. Turn on my camera. Here we go. Am I going to be that small? Yeah, I'm not going to be too large. I'm not going to center myself or anything. Let's start. Okay. And I'm just going to start, I guess. Ugh, I always get like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Hi, I like exploring and I want to share my explanation. Bleh. I knew it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, hi. 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 Hello. I like exploring and want to share with you my exploration into making audio visualizers with Blender. Starting off, this is based off a fantastic video based on Mike Hodgetts and the Blender. Man. Back over here. Back over here. Hi. I like exploring and want to share with you my exploration to making audio visualizers with Blender. This is based off the fantastic video based by Mike Hodgetts and the Blender conference last year. This is a fantastic video where he explains in great depth how he made this visualizer, how it works, and his collaboration with Jacob Collier on it. And he also goes into great depth and detail on how it works. So if you want to know how the under the hood actual details of the nodes are working, I would recommend watching this. Today, I'm actually going to go over my project and my exploration, ways to just kind of modify and apply without necessarily going hardcore into the details of what's going on under the hood. And I also want to share this with everyone so that way you can explore, you can kind of share your creativity, join us in the Discord, show me what you got, show me what we can make things better, and overall just explore together. I think that was a good take. Hi, I like exploring and want to share with you my exploration to making audio visualizers with Blender. This is based off the fantastic video based by Mike Hodgetts and the Blender conference last year. This is a fantastic video where he explains in great depth how he made this visualizer, how it works, and his collaboration with Jacob Collier on it. And he also goes into great depth and detail on how it works. So if you want to know how the under the hood actual details of the nodes are working, I would recommend watching this. Yeah. Let me redo that take. I need to do like intro, take one. I'm not gonna save it, but it'll be a good reference. I'm gonna do another take. Yeah, there we go. Hi, I like exploring, and I want to share with you my exploration to Blender and making audio visualizers. This is based off a fantastic talk by Mike Hodgetts, where he goes into great detail, explaining how he made this, how it works, the very fine details. My goal today is to kind of give an overview how it works, how we can use this as a tool, so we can create our own visualizations. And I hope that you share with us your visualizations either in the comments or by joining us later in the Discord. Okay, that was a good take. Intro, take 2. So let me just go ahead and start again. Start. How am I going to go? Yeah. So okay, so let's just dive right into it. So starting off, we see here, this is based on geometry nodes. Don't get scared about the size of this geometry node. It's actually not that complicated, and it's divided into some different sections here. The most important parts and the magic of it all is going to be this audio buffer node, which is based off Mike Hodges' work. And the explanation, we're going to get into some detailed explanation of how it works and why we need it. But the overview here is going to be just to kind of explain how we can use it, in different places and in different ways. I can show some examples here of how it works, different outcomes that we can do. Actually, let me stop here. Let me brain fart. Audio buffer node. Well, I did get rid of that, so I'm going to show what I'm talking through in the background. Yeah. So these I'll do a voiceover or something, probably. So let me stop recording this. What I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to go through and introduce and get started. Yeah. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let me show here off a little bit of a preview. So this is in the preview section. So this preview section, I think I can do afterwards. Yeah. That's my problem. I need to do the preview section later. I can just jump in right now into the geometry nodes and the points. This video preview I'm going to do later because I don't want to be here jumping through windows, stopping and starting my voice. This way I can go all the way through and get all this done. Yeah. So yeah, I do need these sounds though to be kind of pulled up here. Sounds. There we go. Okay, so I can say let's get into it. I didn't want to start with this audio buffer thing. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. Starting off, this is the actual main geometry node that's being applied to in this case, a cube. But you can actually, doesn't really matter what the geometry is because we're actually generating points based on the volume. So the shape of the geometry isn't very relevant, although you can do different shapes. For this example, I don't like the way this is starting. I'm going too off the rails. So yeah, let me just go ahead and start. Again. Okay, so let's just get into it. So starting off, this has three main sections here in the middle, which are kind of like the reactive parts. Then we have a last section here that kind of adds reactivity to some materials. And then this beginning point part section, which is responsible for actually generating the points on the geometry that we're manipulating. To start off, this is all basically using Eve as a renderer, mostly so we can kind of see in real time what's going on. As a recommendation, it's good to take off temporal reprojection, since it's going to create some blurring while it's rendering. I do have motion blur on, but this is mostly kind of as an effect and more for rendering. If your computer can't handle it, you can also turn this off while you're actually creating your scene, so you can better visualize what's happening, and then you can turn it on or off in the render depending on the kind of look and style you're trying to go for. So in this particular project here, and this is the one that I'm going to share, so look down in the description for a link to this project. This is kind of like, let's say, a starter and kind of a clone of what Mike's project was. But then from here, you can kind of take the basics and apply it to your own scenes and your own manipulations and your own songs. Now, the key here is going to obviously be taking the sound and somehow importing it into Blender so we can use the values in some kind of way. Starting off, how does the visualizers actually kind of in general work? Well, if we look at here, at this example here, this for example, it's called stabs. We can see that we have some values here, right? And actually very much looks like a waveform. That's because it is. Well, let me go back a step. Hang on. That wasn't too bad. So this section here is kind of like an intro thing. That was pretty good. So the thing about the sound, yeah. Okay. So in these main sections, the first one is obviously the point section. This is where we're going to control the volume size, how big it is, and also the kind of the performance we're going to get. This is viewport here. These two groups here are actually controlling the density of the points and also the size of each point. You can tweak this for your look and also for performance. In this case, since we're going to be like wanting to see it react, it's probably a good idea to keep something where you get a high enough FPS to actually see what's going on. If I come here, I'm getting about 16, 15. I'm also recording, but it's enough to kind of give an idea of what the vibe is and how it's going to react. You can tweak with these to kind of get the look you're looking for inside the viewport. Now, it is important to remember that it is going to look slightly different when you render it out. Once we render this, it will have a different look, and I've already tweaked it to kind of have the look I like, or that I kind of enjoy for this project. So just keep this in mind, okay? If you add more, if you add more density, it's also going to take a lot longer to render. So you got to be careful with these settings. But this is basically just going to set up the points in space, okay? Do that again. Well, I'm going to stop that. I probably should just do like a long take and just not worry about, and just edit it as we go. Okay, so I do have motion blur on, but this is mostly, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to actually turn off most of these sections here, so we can kind of see one by one what all are they attributing here. So as I was saying before, the main section here, the first section, is just creating points on the grid. Now you see there's some camera motion, no big deal. Actually, let me go ahead and come in here and take this out so we can see a little bit better. Well, it doesn't make a difference. So we can see that we're here, actually, like I was saying, controlling the density and size of the grid. Now it's moving around a little bit because I do have a constraint here for it to follow the camera a little bit, just so that way it's kind of more of an effect. So when it's spinning around, there's some movement going on. Again, this is just for exploration, to mess around. Now the main meat and potatoes of all this are just going to be these main sections here. Now, generally speaking, when we're talking about like music visualizers, you got kind of like the general approach where you only have one single file, which is the music file. And so then you kind of reacting to the different frequencies, or you can filter out, like, for example, the bass. And once you filter out the bass, you can react to only the bass sounds. These have different kind of outcomes and different reactions, right? Generally speaking, people usually prefer to actually have the files separated if possible, and that's what the approach is here. Instead of having one file that is the entire song, we actually have different files representing different instruments or different parts. This way, let's say the reaction can be more controlled, and we can apply it to different parameters. So here we're seeing the noise riff section, which is based off what stabs, which is kind of like this effect that's kind of going in and out. And we also have another one that's going to be based on the bass, and another one that's actually based off the drum. So if we come here, you'll see that this is actually a kick drum, and it kind of goes in pretty much throughout the entire song. While the lead kind of comes in and out, there's different sections to it. Same thing with the stabs. They kind of come in and out. So this way you can kind of control the different parts. So, okay. Let me go ahead and open up the sounds. Okay. So for example, the set stab sound, if I open it up here in my audio player, we'll notice that there's no sounds here in the beginning. And then as I fast forward through here, we'll see that there's actually some parts that have sounds. Okay. So the idea is that I only want this particular node group or section to react to only to this sound. If I go over here to the kick, we'll see that's a similar thing, but for the kick. It'll be off most of the time, but then from here on, the kick pretty much doesn't stop. Okay. Now, how do we get these into this? Okay, so that should be one thing. Let me come in here. Oh, I'm gonna have to rebake all this again. So how we're gonna, okay. So how do we actually get these sounds into Blender? Well, here we just have a simple value node, okay? It's nothing more special than a value node. And then you click on the value node and you set a keyframe for it. So that way in the graph editor, it shows up with a default point. And then we can click on channel, sound to samples, and it will bring us here to this menu. Now you'll see here on the right-hand side, Blender already has some options here to filter out certain frequencies and also to do like an accumulator, which is actually kind of what we want, the accumulation part. But we'll get into the details of why we're going to use the node group specifically for that. But I'm not going to have to do that now because I already have the sounds kind of separated into different files acting as their own triggers. But this is in the case where we don't have the sound separated. You can do it through here. You can also use other audio programs to kind of separate the sounds as you'd like. Again, this is going to come and depend on what your outcome is, what you're looking for. So in this case, I'm just going to do an example. Let's just say stabs again. And now I do sound to samples. It'll create the envelope based on the sound. Now this is all good and great. You can see the value node here changing. But you might also notice that it's going to be changing basically between 0 and 1. So, and you see also it's very kind of wiggly because that's how sound works. So we need to kind of actually, to make this somewhat useful, we need to smooth these values out somehow. Now, it can be argued you can use it this way. It just depends on the kind of effects you want. It is obviously going to flicker a lot. It's going to move very fast. So you got to be aware of that. You may have to control it. But yeah, so yeah. So now that we have this imported into Blender as a value, we can't, like I was saying, now that we have this imported into Blender, we can't use this directly as a value envelope. Let me stop for a minute. I don't like making very large files, but it does make it more pain in the ass to edit. Oh, hey! What's up, Mr. Mello? I am in the middle of recording stuff. That's why I'm starting and stopping. I'm getting ready. I'm working on my tutorial walkthrough. And how are you doing this afternoon? Well, I want to take a second break, I guess, and built out some sound here. Dun, 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 dun. I want you entertained. Don't like that song too much. I'm also creating kind of a playlist as I go for future streams. Multitasking. And how are you doing this evening? Drop a message in chat. Share how you're feeling today. to pick the playlists because I already got a pretty big playlist. I gotta add the source and Shiza. I'm not gonna worry about it now. I'll just do it the way I'm doing it.
Falling short, diving deep. Where is the water taking me? Trying hard, bittersweet.
Cabin fever's pulling me. I want to hold on to something greater. I feel the waves come crashing in. I'm drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, drowning, drowning. Drowning, 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 drowning,
Okay, enough of that. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. I'm actually going to look at that real quick. No, I'm just let's just go. So the main issue with using the raw sound as an envelope like this, it's going to be very jittery. It's going to oscillate very, very fast. It's only going to go between 0 and 1 in general. Now, this may not be necessarily a problem all the time, but for something that's kind of using, for example, in these cases, noise textures with a W, or something that you want to constantly change and increase, you're going to need some sort of accumulator or buffer. And that's exactly what this node group does here. If I drill into it, and my computer actually responds, come on. There we go. So now we see here the actual insides of what's going on. This is a bit more complicated, and I'm not going to go into the details of all this. You can look at the actual original video to... Oh, I got a follow. Thanks for the follow. Who was that? I did not catch... Oh, there it is. I see a name there. I can't see it. Twisted TTA, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm actually working here on a recording. That's kind of like why I'm going back and forth and repeating myself a lot. But I'm walking through this little project here as a music audio visualizer. Right now I have things muted so we can kind of go through and see the effects things are having. But the idea here is that it just reacts to kind of the music, the sounds, and creates different effects. I can actually show kind of what these are looking like because I already have some in here that are more advanced, more complete. Of course, a whole different versions. Let me go into like one of these other ones. This recent one wasn't too bad. This one actually I made a little floor that I was kind of playing with. So yeah. You see here, let me choose a different one. This other one, the V3 blur, I think was probably one of the better ones. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're working on here. Well, that's the point of this video. I'm trying to show that it can be a little complicated, but it also can be a little simple. This one's complicated because we're adding a lot of small parts together, and that's kind of the idea. You can start with a small piece and slowly kind of increment and add on. I have some other, I deleted here because I cleaned this project up file. But for example, just like I was saying, and I'm sure that's where I'm working through right now, is if I go ahead and mute a lot of these, we'll see the effects they have one by one, and then you can kind of build it up. I'm actually planning on sharing these files when the video is complete, so that way you can kind of play with it too, see how it works, and get to know what's going on. So let me actually step back here to the original part here. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, I was here explaining why once we get the envelopes for the sounds into Blender, we can't use them necessarily like the way they are. Okay, we have to use, that's what this node group, it takes a while to load. Come on. And I don't know if it's my computer or my accuracy. There we go. So this is the one that's much more complicated, and for sure this actually builds a little simulation. But all the magic this is trying to do is convert that wiggly sound into values that keep changing every time that it triggers. And that's kind of like the magic part of this. So if you really, for people who want to kind of like get into like the simulation and how this is actually working under the hood, I would recommend looking at the Blender conference project and the talk given by Mike Hodgetts. Just to use it, it's much easier and much straightforward. We just have to stick the values node that we have into this audio buffer, and what comes out is going to be values that only grow and only grow when the sound is triggered. So if I now come here, now this part can be a little bit complicated, but this is kind of like the expression part where you can build what you want. Here we're using a noise texture, so that way we can set the position of some geometry nodes, some of these points. Let me get rid of the background, so now it's a little bit more visible here. I'm going to the shader editor, into the world. I was afraid it's going to get darker. Yeah, that's fine for now. Okay, so now we see here that when I play the sound, the file here, which one? This is on stabs, right? Yeah, so it's only going to react when there's stab sounds, which start about here. There we go. Okay, so you can change how it affects it by the noise texture. In this case, the scale of it. So if you want it to have like a more subtle effect, you can bring the scale down, and it kind of wobbles a little less. That's kind of like why these are here, just to kind of like distort it in different ways. But once you kind of get these the way you like, right now I'm just going to leave it like this. It's already reacting to that stab sound and only the stab sound. So everything else is not affecting this particular section here. And this just builds upon itself. So here, this section is responsible for that riff, that stab. If I come here to, for example, the noise drum and turn this on, now we'll see that when the kick is hitting, it'll also react. See? Now both sounds are playing, so they're both reacting, they're both affecting. Now it's only the kick that's affecting it. See? Again, this can be a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to actually turn on its emission just so we can see it a little bit clearer. Actually, let me go ahead and explain that now. The other part of this, right? So I'm getting a little lost here because I'm trying to go off a script, not really a script, more of a guide. Go ahead and make a take. Okay. So that's the kind of the general overview of what's going on with this sample to sounds. How this sound to samples works and what the audio buffer is actually doing. So from here, we're just kind of adding building blocks together. So I have three different sounds, and they're all going to affect the geometry of the points in different ways to kind of create interesting things. These are all based on noise textures. It can be based on whatever you want. And however you wish. Here, just to kind of give us some insights, after that, it's usually a good idea to have a multiply node. And this multiply node is going to kind of give you the sensitivity, like how much does it actually grow depending on the sound whenever it's triggered. In this case, we're using like a 4D noise texture because we want that W value so that way it can change dynamically through. Everything else is pretty much, to be honest, very exploratory. I just kind of mess around until things start looking the way I like. And we'll see here, we're actually storing some attributes. This is important for how the materials are working in this project file. So here we're also going to have some reactivity in the textures based on whatever sounds that they're connected to. In this case, we're storing this attribute, which is going to be this noise texture, into this stored attribute called noise riff. And I also do it for the bass and also here for material. This is where we're going to actually pass it over into the shader. If I come here and open the shader a little bit, see if I can center things up a little bit. We come here to the shader. I can get rid of this to clean it up. We have these two attributes, which is color and strength. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to kind of give these particles color. Oh, here we go. That's why it's not working. Haha. Fail. So let's go back a step. Yeah, there we go. So now that these are kind of setting their, yeah, there we go. There we go. Let me go back here a moment. Because the material section is also a little complicated, only because, well, it's fun sometimes. Let me go ahead and simplify this project. We get rid of the, there we go. So now the grid is just a grid, okay? And if we look at the color now, it's also reacting here. See, it's reacting to the base and also some of the stabs, okay? Now, it may not be very obvious, but that's when we have to sometimes play with the density so we can kind of see what's going on. But they're kind of working in multiple parts. That's why this material is a little bit more complicated, because it's using the noise riff that we set before and also has its own reaction to the kick drum. So it's going to follow the kick drum, but it's also going to kind of change colors whenever the stabs come in. So the kick drum is going to keep it like progressing and flowing. But then when the kick drum and the stabs happen together, they're going to change the colors and create like a little bit of a flash effect. So this is all to also set two attributes here. So it's kind of like layers, like I was saying before. We've got one layer here, which is kind of setting some attributes for the bass and the riff. And these are going to be used in this section here of the material. So that way we can kind of create the reactivity the way we want. And we're also storing these values into these two stored attributes, just so we can pass it into the shaders, to the materials. There are different ways of doing this. We could actually have passed directly the values into the shader and done all this in the shader. There's a whole different ways, but this way it keeps it kind of everything on here. And so all the control, these ramps are just to kind of control the different colors and the palette of things, how they're reacting in there. If you won't see what I'm saying, so there we go. See some examples. So that's what that's doing here. So yeah, I'm gonna just kind of zoom in here. So we see now, wait a minute. Yeah, let me undo what I did, because let me keep undoing because I messed something up. Here we go. We got that, we got that. Let me go ahead and undo this. There we go. Oh, I hope I didn't mess up the bake. This sometimes can occur. Again, it's just simulations in Blender. Sometimes you may have to bake the simulation. Sometimes it breaks. It looks like it's broken now. Let me see. Yeah, see how it's not reacting to anything anymore. So this is going to take a few minutes. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not doing something stupid first. Yeah, it's what it is. Yeah, it's not reacting anymore. Let me just double check. Yeah, so this is going to take a few seconds. Well, it's not going to take a few seconds, it's going to take a few minutes. But yeah, do you let me know if you like, are you new to Blender? Do you use Blender? while this is baking, because it's going to take a few seconds, we can do a little. That's for you. That's for you. Speaking of which, I'm probably going to re-record anyway, but that's fine. This is my first kind of video, so it's very random. I'm going to edit and cut everything up. I'm going to do everything on stream. That's kind of why I'm working with DaVinci. I'm learning and exploring and like sharing as well. That's my point. Let's go ahead and do a little. There we go, like this. A little intermission while it's baking. That's cool. I'm new to Blender as well. So it can be a little bit the blind leading the blind. But yeah, I like the community. I think that's fun. I think that's why we work together. I'm learning from other people as well. I learned this from that YouTube video from the Blender conference last year. Fantastic. Why is my party not working? Just waiting for this bake to finish. I guess I can show a little bit more instead of getting distracted with the party here. Here we go. This one is probably, well, I showed them earlier, but these are just little takes. The original, how original? This has already gone through like a whole bunch of evolutions. I don't think anything ever fully gets done or finished. It just keeps working on it. Are you? I know that one. I don't even know where it is anymore. But I have this one here, which is kind of one of the original ones. And I'm going to also share that other. Why isn't it loading? Here we go. Here I kind of edited a sphere to it, and I liked it at the beginning, but now I don't. I took it out. But that was an exploration too. It's using the same exact technique, but modifying a sphere with the Voronoi texture and extruding and some other things. But using the same kind of principle of just reacting to the sound based on that node there. And it changes a whole bunch of parameters, some of the colors, some not just the shape as well. As you can see, the particles here have a different look. Also kind of made just differently, but same. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to share, is that there's different ways to kind of manipulate things. Here recently, I don't think I actually have it rendered out because this was like yesterday and I already lost it. So I got to do it again. V4, the floor here. I was actually kind of liking it. Did a different version that actually looks a little nicer, but lost it by accident. But it's not too complicated. So I'll work on that part on stream to also add into the video. This one doesn't have the audio sync to it, but it's obviously reacting to it, you know. Okay, so the bake is finished. Let's double check and see if everything, yeah, now it's reacting. See, there it goes. Yeah, and you'll notice, so yeah, even though it's actually a little bit easier to show on the render that the colors changing are based on more than one instrument. So it kind of depends on what's playing at the same time. So they kind of flashed a little bit the color, and it should change more here. So you start to kind of change a little bit of the palettes. Not a lot, it's not huge. I'm also trying to figure out how to control that. The secret here is more about this node here, the points, and using color interpolation in this HVS instead of RGB. RGB also does its own thing. It's just not going to wrap around the same way. It's just kind of the color palette. This one here, you can kind of rotate the colors a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and step back. I was talking about these nodes here. I just realized that my follower goals is blocking my thing there. Not the worst thing in the world. Okay, so let me try again where I was. I was over here and I was talking about the nodes, showing them off one by one. Let me look at my guide here so I don't mess up. See, I already talked about that. So let me take a look. I might already have. I was looking for a short video. I'm not looking to make a very long one. Let's get into it. This is not the recent. Render in space, okay? Off as a recommendation, it's good to take off the, and this is the one I want to share. Oh, did I not record that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we go. So just not in the right order. I was afraid it's going to get, so that way we can set the position so that we this I'm getting okay. I'm just going to go. Okay, so I was here showing off the color things. That's where I was, and that's where I'm going to continue. Alrighty. So let's try moving from here. Why am I getting messages? Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring this down so we can see this clearly. And let's show off the colors. So looking at just the color transformation stuff, that's kind of how this is working. We're setting some attributes here based on noise texture, so that way the colors kind of flow. Actually, if I disconnect this W here and kind of scale through it, oops, should have. Do I have something else turned off here? Oh yeah, this is going to depend on both the kick, so I can't do that way. Oh, this is the one. Here we go. So yeah, here we can control now the kind of the color texture, how the colors are going to evolve within the points in our grid. Again, this is kind of just mostly like fine tuning and tweaking values and finding something that looks good and that you like and what your goal is. Again, this one is going to kind of hybrid. It's reacting both to the kick and also some of this bass stuff. and then here it's kind of doing some logic. That's what this equal here is for, is to kind of control some of the whenever the color changes from one kind of side of the spectrum to the other, and the shape and the that it's taking in here is going to be based also off of these textures that we're using. You can explore, you can play around as much as you want. I usually find that something not too detailed, something a little bit smaller, it looks pretty good, so it becomes more clear. But again, it's whatever you want. So once we add back these geometries, the effect of the geometry, now we start seeing how it reacts all together. Fantastic. Now this is using Eevee, mostly for kind of more a performance kind of side. You can use either one. Cycles is also pretty good. It's going to depend on your scene. For cycles, this is probably a little bit overkill. Do have some compositing in, as well, but again, nothing too crazy. Just a little bit of glow and bloom, just to kind of bring out things. It should have rendered. Oh no, I got to render. We do want to show the composition here as well. There we go. So with a little bit of composing. Now you see it does look a little different because because it's much more dense. And actually, I think I'm going to tweak it just a little bit. Just a little too large. I like them a little smaller. The camera is also up close. Again, it just depends on the looks. Uh-oh. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I get it. Whenever I start muting and unmuting these nodes here, the simulation bake goes away. That's why sometimes I break. That's why sometimes this breaks. I'll have to do another bake here. Maybe not. I think for the example that I'm trying to go through, it's going to be fine. Yeah. But that's why the bake sometimes freaks out, because I'm muting and unmuting these nodes. So I was talking about the coloring and the effects. Oh, the point size. Here we go. I'm going to put it a little bit smaller for the render. It's going to be here. I'll put about 6. Let's try 6 and see what that looks like. Just to make it a little bit more finer. Yeah. The points get a little bit smaller. And actually, I can compare it here. I might want it just a little denser. Usually, but it makes it the renders a little bit slower. Having it a little bit more dense and smaller points kind of generally looks better. Man, that's not too bad. I'm also rendering pretty high. So just to kind of get the idea. And I've also tweaked some stuff here already. So it's not going to be the final result. So that's pretty much it. Now, to render this out, or just to kind of add some more touches, I've added some motion blur. I thought that was a pretty good effect. In the viewport, it's always going to be obviously not the final, especially with the density and everything. But I think it makes it much more clear that the movement brings out a lot more of the movement. And speaking of which, I'll go ahead and capture this. No, I'm going to do a voiceover. I want to do it. Why is it not blurred? Did I not turn on blur? It's just not a blurred section. Oh, I think it's the bake again. That's what it is. So, yeah, I'm going to have the bake again. That's so annoying. I know there's ways to keep the bake permanent. I've done it before. Where are you? Where'd you go? There you are. Where was that? There's a place I think it's here in the geometry node. I already got it set to a path. I don't know. It's probably a feature. Whenever you mute the node, it's going to deactivate it. So we're just going to have to bake and wait. Hopefully this will be the last time I can bake. While that's baking, let me just double check here. because my idea is to, by this point in the video, yeah, I'll be talking about the rendering part. I know this video is going to be short, but it's kind of the point. I don't want it to be very long. And you caught me today. Yesterday, I was actually much more messing around and exploring things. Today, I'm trying to do this recording. I've been trying to do it for a couple of weeks now. And I really want to get it out because it's getting on my nerves. I want to share it on YouTube, try to get something started. But yeah, on stream, I usually just go off the deep end, messing with stuff. I'm going on a Blender vibe. I'm also going to get started on some programming. I'm a programmer by my day job. Do some OBS stuff. I don't know yet. I really like mixing in visuals and audio. Might do some VJ stuff. That's kind of like why I'm playing around sometimes with effects like this. This is just some built-in stuff, retro effects, OBS things. But yeah, I'm just starting. Gonna grow as I grow along. Share everyone with the progress, how things are done, how I'm doing it. I really want to start doing some programming. That would be kind of cool. But I'm starting here with Blender and some DaVinci and editing things. Oh boy, this is going to take forever. I can start a new timeline. Start getting these in here. Do I have a link in my description to the Discord? Let's see. Yeah, I don't have a link yet because I just kind of creating stuff. I'll put it here in the Discord or in the chat if I'll deal with that later. I'm not worried. Okay, this is almost done. I think I am going to start importing these into a timeline and start organizing. Let's see here, stream, yes, caps. Oh boy, how do I do that? I think I come here, new bin. Yeah, new bin. So we'll put here. This was first, which I'm not going to use. I'm just going to keep it here as like reference. I can put that in there, and then I'll put here a new bin. And I'll call this second. And oh, wait a minute, this is not the right one. Audio Blender. Actually, that was a pretty good video right there of me messing with the. I'm just talking though. So these here are going to come in. Yeah, I'll just put them all in here for now. And I'll organize and figure out later. The new timeline. This is going to be called second for now. Create. Okay. These are probably not even in the right order. I may have to do it by hand. Uh-oh. Is there a way to organize this? Let's see. Dates modified. Ascending. Okay, so oldest to newest. Kind of went the other way around, I think. Newest, no, oldest to newest, I guess. No, it's backwards. Backward. What I want. So I'm also very new to DaVinci. Here. Maybe this is right? No. I don't think it's gonna work what I'm trying to do here. Oh, that did it. There we go. Yeah, so it follows somewhat chronologically as I was doing. Yeah, okay. All right, so we got the bake done. I do need to kind of look over what I'm doing. I don't think I got all the footage. But the idea here is, yeah, I did explain that part. I explained, let me look at the guidelines here. My guide. Oops. Over here. Mention those. I did mention that. I did not go as in detail on that part, but that's fine. This is fine. Yeah, I was going to go a little bit more into detail, but I don't think it's really worth it on that part. Yeah. Yeah. So this first part, I think I'm going to end up with a second session where I'm going to have to record some voiceovers because I'm going to want to share things like, for example, when I'm talking about the rendering and different looks, I'm not going to be showing in real time. I'll be having a voiceover, so I'll do that later. Okay, so I think I'm pretty ready to start editing. These intros I know are garbage. Hi. Yeah, I already know these are garbage. This has. Okay, so let's just get into it. So starting off, I think this take two was actually the one. Hi, I like exploring, and I want to share with you my exploration to Blender and making audio visualizers. That's what it was there. Sometimes I start using the Blender shortcuts in DaVinci. They don't work. Hi, I like exploring. Yes, I actually am a software engineer. That's my day job. Mostly Java, enterprise solutions, blah, blah, blah. It's good stuff. I kind of mess with a little bit of everything. Actually, I can kind of show off a little bit. I've been kind of getting into, and not just Java. I do a little bit of everything. That's what I get paid for. I have my little website that I'm kind of working on as well sometimes as a hobby. I actually started off, this is in 3.js. This is actually 3D rendered. So it's using WebGL. This is kind of like a vertex shader with some, so I could actually wrote these shaders to make this shape. And also as you scroll through the site, it kind of changes a little bit the cameras in the background. And this is kind of like my journey through graphics programming and some program. I'm gonna have to update it as I go along. This was created not too long ago, on the spur of the moment. For example, like these little things here. See, this is kind of like a toy more than anything. I have a 3D scene with this object here. If I open up another window here, they kind of interact with each other. So now there's two objects, but they're controlled by the window, which is not very common. It's kind of a little gimmicky, fun thing. But yeah, these kinds of things, kind of exploring. I gotta update some of these things. This is another one that's kind of like based on sound or trying to get sound involved. I caution, I don't know how loud this is gonna get. There it goes. So it's just kicking in. So this one also has a little bit of sound reactivity. Don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's just a simple reaction. But this one is actually kind of how I was talking in the video or earlier. It's not the individual sounds. It's like looking at the whole sound and reacting to it in general. So yeah, that's my little website that I'm kind of slowly growing and messing around with. I want to make something more crazy. But for example, this actual site here, like I was saying, is using 3GS. So this is all 3D in the background. I have like some hidden settings here where you can actually kind of change some of the parameters. We can change like the backgrounds, for example. These are actually cameras. Let me see if I have the helpers. Do I have helpers in this version? No, but yes, I do. These are all different cameras. It can get a little messy. Yeah, there we go. I can zoom out, see? So you can kind of see the scene a little bit of actually how this is being created, the illusion. And all these are basically different parameters of different lights. Yeah, the code for this is pretty messy. But whatever. I was just messing around. That's kind of what this is. It's not the greatest, to be honest, but ooh, that looks kind of interesting. It looks like it's being warped. But yeah. I kind of wanted to get into something on stream regarding programming. I've been following Finite Singularity and Accelerator. They make plugins for OBS. And I don't know, I might get into that too. It's not really my area, but I'm okay with deep diving and figuring it out and learning. Okay. Exploring, and I want to share with you my exploration to Blender and making audio visualizers. This is based off a fantastic talk by... Can I get rid of that? Probably it's going to be jumping. Blender integration to Blender and making audio visualizers. It's kind of quiet. I also make music and sound, but that's kind of like another thing. Kind of a hobby. Used to have my own band back in the day. Now I just kind of make drum and bass, or try to make sounds. It's kind of part of my goals here is trying to actually finalize things, get things more finished and polished. Otherwise, I just end up with folders and folders of never-ending projects. No, not a sound software engineer. No, though the sound stuff is kind of like hobby. Probably have a pretty good amount of experience already, but no, not professionally, just hobby-wise. I'm a big nerd, so I get kind of like deep down, and with the ADHD, sometimes gets like hyper-focused, and I go into these deep dives around sound and things. But yeah, I do like to actually make sound design, make some music. I need to kind of get back into it a little bit more. I don't mind sharing. The music folder gets pretty large. Let me come here. Where are you? Music projects. There's a lot of them that never get finished. Some of them are kind of interesting. Like this one was here for like a game that we're kind of messing with or thinking about messing with. It's more chill. I don't know if that's being heard. Yeah. This one's just a little show, kind of like intro music. Kind of name says menu. Some other ones get more dramatic. I like drama. But then none of this is finished. It's all kind of always in progress. more recent thing that I kind of more happy about is this is drum and bass kind of stuff. Whole big track. And to be honest, this is actually based off another song. It's kind of like a cover in a way. Yeah, different things in there. This is a little bit more crazy, a little more bassy. Yeah, I think, yeah, some of these should have a vibe to them, sure. So yeah, there's like a whole bunch of projects, years of stuff in there, of different qualities and levels. And anyone who works in this like artsy or more creative space kind of should know, like, even when things aren't finished, you can kind of see, oh, the sound quality is good, but maybe the music isn't, or vice versa. Right? Sometimes with art, something might actually need some tweaking, not finalized. A lot of the stuff takes a lot of work and phases. And sometimes I'm just messing around. I want to learn how to play with a particular setting or whatever. And so it's not really the point of making a song per se. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying collaborating with people and getting things down. Kind of want to make a game, to be honest, but games are too involved and big to do. I might just do something interactive like the website. I'd like to probably blow out the website a little bit more, make something interactive with Twitch. That would be cool. I saw JS Dev that he uses Godot actually to create his scene. So I think that, and it interacts with Twitch. So that might be pretty cool. I don't know. I have a lot of things on my table that I want to do. I also have Touch Designer and Smode and a whole bunch of other software to to learn and mess with. This is based off a fantastic talk by Mike Hodgetts, where he goes into great detail explaining how he made this, how it works, the very fine details. My goal today is to kind of give an overview how it works, how we can use this as a tool, so we can create our own visualizations. And I hope that you share with us your visualizations either in the comments or by joining us later in the Discord. All right, that wasn't too bad. Wait a minute. There's a way to do this. Where I think it's Ripple. I know there's a way to set this where everything shifts over. Whatever. Comments or by joining us later in the Discord. Okay, so let's just get into it. So starting off, this has three main sections here in the middle, which are kind of like the reactive part. I'm going to try to make like an intro and little, what do you call those little transitions here? Right now I'm just going through to see if I can. Okay, so let's just get into it. So starting off, this has three main sections here in the middle, which are kind of like the reactive parts. Then we have a last section here that kind of adds reactivity to some materials. And then this beginning part section, which is responsible for actually generating the points on the geometry that we're manipulating. I do a little bit. I never actually played things. It's probably chronic. I haven't actually played all of them. Of course not play all the games. Oh my goodness, what am I talking about here? I do like playing games, yes, but I get this attention span thing where I'll dive deep into it for a while and then maybe never play it again for a while and then come back for a while, on and off. But yeah, I do enjoy. That's kind of like why I like watching people. Whoa, my door just opened. Hang on a second. Here we go. I like watching playthroughs sometimes, partly because of that, because I don't have time or the patience or attention span to play it. But I like learning about the story or the lore or the gameplay. So I do watch some stuff. The things that I kind of actually played before or kind of gone into more like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, those are kind of my favorites. Of course, like I'm old, so I'm gonna have like old stuff like Half-Life and CS:GO and stuff like that, but not like hardcore. I've gotten to a little bit of Rocket League, things like that. I'm for sure going to be playing more on stream. I got some friends as well that sometimes we do some role playing on GTA on RP. Warhammer, that's something that I've been wanting to get into even since as a kid, but never actually got the chance, to be honest. I know very little of the lore. I know that the more recent games out are pretty cool. I've watched some playthroughs of that, not playthroughs, but a little bit. That looks pretty awesome, to be honest. It's just like with Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, and stuff like that. I've been wanting to. It's always very interesting to me, even though I've never participated very much. The Warhammer stuff is very interesting too, even from like a physical board game perspective. The people painting all the artwork involved. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm getting messages. Just 1 second. The weather today is very crazy. Oh gosh, I may have to end my stream here in a minute. How long ago was this message from? Well, we're gonna assume we're gonna progress without video camera. So yeah, maybe I may get involved with game. I've already messed a little bit with Unity, with Godot. I really need to get into more. That's kind of part of the reason why I started streaming, is so hopefully I start finishing more things and get some more things done. Did a game jam a couple of years ago. That was fun. Very small little thing. It was just like a 72-hour game jam. I'm gonna have to leave the stream for a minute, actually probably like 30 minutes. Oh man, I'm still recording. Let me stop that. No wonder I couldn't find the last take. I was still recording it. So silly, so silly. I'm not really sure what the best options here. If I should just stop the stream and start it again, or if I should just keep it in the background. If I keep it in the background, it's going to be a while. Only like 30 minutes. I have to go pick someone up. Not expected. Well, Twisted, I've appreciated you joining us today. I'll be back here in about 30 minutes, about 40 minutes. So I think I'm actually going to end the stream so that way It'll notify and do the notifications thing. Since you're one of my first followers, because I'm just starting off, I'll put in here in the chat my Discord. I do need to put it in my profile under my settings and thing here. How do I'll just put a link in here. Yeah, I'll put a link in here. No big deal. I don't think there's a big. Oh, that's not the right text. I'm not sure why this isn't copying. It's because I'm streaming. Well, hey, I'm gonna have to head out. Sorry. I did appreciate you coming by. I'll be back here in about 40 minutes, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. So maybe you'll get a notification, and I'd like to see you again. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I'm going to be working more on this video, and who knows, I might get bored and just start exploring other things. I kind of want to do the floor because I lost it like over the creating the floor was pretty cool. Where are you, V4? I had a much better version, but I lost it. Oopsies. I think it kind of adds a little bit to it. And I want to show the floor as the main point of like you don't have to like understand fully all the complicated stuff about the particles to make it reactive to sound. You just need that audio buffer node, and then you can kind of go wild. It's just an envelope, just like anything else. But yeah, I appreciate it. See y'all later. Then I'll be back here in a little bit. See ya.